Thank you, sir.
You have a speech.
At the outset, I must thank the French Academy of Medicine, the government of France, and uh, respective governments, the director, dean, and deputy director for giving me this opportunity to share with you on massive open online courses. I'll stick to health and science, mainly with respect to our country. But I would like to ask the students here, how many of you have heard about MOOCs or taken MOOCs classes? Doesn't look like many. Well, MOOCs actually means massive. It includes a large population that can be taught at any time. It's open in the sense anybody can do it. You need not have a basic degree to do a particular course. It's online, so you require at least the internet and a device, either a computer or a little pocket gadget, tablet, anything else, and it's a course. The best part is anybody from any age can take it, and of course the course you need not pass an exam. Just most of these courses include those in which you get a certificate of participation and you can increase your knowledge. This kind of distance education, in which you don't have boundaries of the class, began with the radio actually in 1920s with what was known as the BBC. This was followed by the television about 30 years later. Then the computers came, and then of course the internet in 1990s. So you see there's a distinct stepwise increment in the availability of information, as was told to you previously, and gradually developments resulted in about 1990s when there was a big boom, when we know that we can get information at our tips. We need not go to the library to see books and so on. The word MOOC was given by Dave Cormier and Brian Alexander when two gentlemen, George Simons and Stephen Downes in Canada, they put out their course on connectivism and connective knowledge, 2008, popularly known as CCK 08. 25 of their students paid for it. It was like an online course, but the remaining few thousands didn't pay, so they just joined the course. And their idea of the course was that you put it online and just forget about it. The students themselves communicated with each other. They actually formed a meshwork or web of knowledge amongst themselves. They did not have a teacher there, but they discussed amongst themselves just as people do over the Facebook or anything. And the knowledge gained and gathered were assimilated gradually, and that was what their new idea of connectivism theory of knowledge happened. So the goals were to offer the best education possible anywhere in the world, to help people. Many of them, they just took that course. In fact, I read somewhere Bill Gates himself took a MOOC on something unrelated to computers just to gain some knowledge. And then of course it brings strong communities. Students talk to each other over the internet, and the learning can happen through others also. So this is what is MOOC. So in a MOOC, generally you have to prepare a course well, register students, and then deliver it through a software. And then it goes all over the net. The worldwide students anyway can take this course. The course can be corrected. There are mentors who look at this, they correct the course and again take it there. Then you can give assignments, quizzes, games and so on and so forth to enhance the knowledge. And finally, you just give a certificate of participation, or if you want to give a proper certificate, you can have an examination. So these are issues that need to be taken. So based on this, first, the ones which Stephen Downes and Siemens gave, that was the Connectivity Canadian or CMOOC. Then came the XMOOC. In XMOOC, there's a one professor or a small group of 2 professors or 3, they make a structured lecture on any topic. Generally, the total duration may be 40 hours, but individual lectures are between 8 and 10 minutes, not more than that. And then they put it on the net for a particular period. Unlike online courses, in this the student can go through the lectures anytime during the day. Many of them are working, and after office hours or during the lunch break they can go through it. They go through assignments and so on. This is the most popular form, that is the XMOOC. There are other forms, and nowadays it's said that 2015 or 16 may be corporate MOOC, in which certain MOOCs are there for enhancing the knowledge of people in corporates. The advantages is, I told you, flexible. There are over 1200 subjects on the net. Nearly 5 million users of MOOCs, various courses are there over 85 countries, and the lectures are free from renowned. You can get lectures from Harvard. You need not pay thousands of dollars to fund your education there. You take a MOOC, and the MOOCs are variable costing. Most of them are free. Some may be $10 and some may go up, of course, to a higher degree. The disadvantage is there is no credit. I mean, it's for your knowledge, except when there are exams. There is no hands-on experience, and that's the challenge for the medical field. And as was told to you by the previous speaker, nowadays we have virtualization and digitization, and many speakers several told you, and this can be put on the net, and MOOCs are coming up. The dogma is student-teacher ratio. Even in our institution, when we want to admit a student, we look at the ratio. How many students can one teacher take? But in this MOOC, one professor, he makes his lecture and puts it online, and so the ratio can be as high as 1:100,000. Many are against this. They say that one professor cannot have the same lecture for 100,000 people. There is a high dropout rate. It's not compulsory. It's self-driven. So the only 5 to 10% ultimately finish these courses, and that's a big challenge. And finally, how do you proctor examinations? Do you call all the students in, if you want to give an exam in a particular place, or you give them online? That has resulted in cheating and newer forms of cheating called Cameo and so on and so forth. Will not go into that. The softwares or the platforms are many, and the most common ones are Coursera, EDX, the Udemy, Udacity, and so on and so forth. They account for a majority of these. Of these, the EDX is MIT and Harvard. They are non-profit. The rest may take some amount of course fees. The amount of MOOCs are increasing, and more number of people are giving. But if you see the popular degrees, you will find that health sciences as such are not that popular or not that common in the MOOCs. And I am surprised. Unfortunately, we don't know the French language. There is a phenomenal amount of material in your country which others can tap. You will notice nursing is at 9, but healthcare administration is there at 8. It's over 1,200 courses available. Health and medicine form a small proportion. It's mainly internet, computers, and so on and so forth, which are more common. Majority of the people, they just want knowledge to get a degree, or many of them just to get some skills. And a lot of people take it over different ages. It's 8 to 80. There are over 80-year-olds who have taken MOOCs, and that's recorded. And you can be a high school dropout or anything to take a course. And you'll notice that MOOCs is worldwide. Of the maximum number of people who take these MOOCs are from US, India stands second. And this is seen in total of various studies that India is this, Indians at least from India register for MOOCs. They are second highest in the world. But then in the health sciences, unfortunately, this is the English, Spanish and Arabic. The French is not there. And you'll notice that there are out of 1,200 only about 90 odd courses in this. And many of them take it just for accomplishing the course, and certificates with examinations are only in 5 or so. Of these, 70% are from American universities and remaining 30% are from different places, about 16 other universities all over the world. Spain is one country where they give a lot of these things. And if you see how much is India associated with preparing courses, because the professors can be from anywhere. You see, this is Coursera, and there are about 7 or 8 French universities actively involved in that. And in India, only a business school, one of our topmost business schools in Hyderabad. So this is the amount of contribution as far as lectures are concerned are less. But in India, there are few sites which give MOOCs. One is our Indian Institutes of Technology. There are several of them all over the country. They give engineering MOOCs, and they have associated with Indian Institute of Science, which was referred to yesterday, our topmost science university in the country, and they have a national program on technology enhanced learning, or NPTEL. NPTEL has courses mainly in engineering sciences, not in health. Then the government of India, just as the government of France made those online courses, last year in September, they brought out a portal called Swayam. Swayam in Sanskrit means self. The Prime Minister felt Swayam is self-directed learning, and there is an acronym for Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. At present, there are 3 courses, 1 from Princeton and 2 from IIT Bombay. The Jawaharlal Nehru University is taking it. In fact, a Federation of Chamber and Commerce had written a vision paper and said we must have MOOCs, and BITS Pilani and IGNOU. IGNOU has got a lot of courses, but few of this traditional MOOCs platform, which I am happy that the French government is collaborating with them, but not in the health sciences. AIMS is one place where there is a MOOC platform. It's called Online Neonatal Training and Orientation Program in India, on top IN, by the Department of Pediatrics. It's a very popular course. This course gives training in certain aspects of neonatology, but it's a blended learning. By blended I mean they take this MOOCs course, and then the students come to study centers where they have hands-on experience. Nurses and some students take it. This is perhaps the nearest to MOOC in health sciences we have in our country. Now, if you see, there are no studies on MOOCs in developing countries, but there was an interesting study from Egypt which shows that most of the students, undergraduate students, took it to learn new things, a little more of anatomy, a little more of physiology or clinical subjects, and that helped them in their exams. But they had one problem. All these MOOCs require internet. You see internet users worldwide. India is quite blue. It means a lot of internet users. But the percentage of people who have computers or internet connection is less. Worldwide, India stands second in the number of people who use the internet. But that's because of our population. Only 30% of our population have got access to computers and internet the way we have. On the other hand, although France stands at 27, almost 80% of your population have that. So that is why the MOOCs, if it has to develop, it will develop with that. The next thing is you need a good internet speed worldwide. Unfortunately, if you see, the highest internet speed worldwide, of course, is in South Korea. France stands at about 31 and we stand lower down. The world average is 3.9 millibytes per second, ours is about 2. And even if you take 10 Mbps per second, in our country only about 1 to 5% will be able to achieve that at peak time. On the other hand, in France, it's almost 60% you'll have. So this is something that causes students to stay away from that. It takes 6 milliseconds, it almost takes two-thirds the time to download a page in France than in India. So these things, when people don't have time, it becomes difficult. In Egypt, lack of time and slow internet speeds were considered to be limitations among medical students. So this data, I think, fits almost similar to what we have in our country. So therefore, there's a lot of room for improvement. Our internet speed has improved in the past 2 to 3 years. It's almost doubled, and it will. We have it's the broadband fiber optic cables have been laid. The only thing, there's difficult terrain in many places, and this will improve. So therefore, the MOOCs in our country are just coming up. We have a lot of people who are interested. They take MOOCs from outside, but we have little here. Now, I have been told to apprise you little bit of our examination systems. Now, if you see, AIIMS is a place which not only teaches, but also examines. And if you see, we have mainly computer-based tests for our entrance and recruitment, and offline mainly for our exit exams of our students. There are almost more than 250,000 to 260,000 people who take our tests daily, every year for entrance, and for recruitment we have about 16,000. And the number of papers that we ultimately give out is almost over 300. And last year we used almost 20,000 MCQs in different exams. So it's a huge repository of these examination systems. And if you see, the number of people who aspire to join AIIMS are increasing from day to day, and every year there's an increase. Even in our undergraduate MBBS, which is one of the most sought after courses, actually the number jumped up when there were 6 other AIIMS which came here. The probability of a student getting into one of these courses is just 0.3%. So the amount of competition is very stiff. And here I must tell you, quietly behind all these scenes, a lot of institutes have come up that coach students to how to appear on these exams. It's actually a teaching to take a test. And these coaching institutions have formed an informal MOOC of their own kind. So that's something which is very interesting. They have their own blogs and so on. And in fact, last year, for the first time in our country, we had the largest MBBS entrance exam in 2 shifts, which was completely computer based or online. And this, earlier we used to take tests in about 20 odd centers, and last year we had in almost 150 odd cities, 398 centers. Almost 900 of our staff move in all over the country to help in conducting these exams. This is a huge logistic affair. The director, the deputy director and the dean know how difficult it is, but we have been doing it. So in summary, I will not take much time. Indian students are known to enroll for MOOC courses worldwide, and there's a dearth of medical MOOCs all over the world. But today was an eye-opener. France has wonderful courses, and we would be very happy if, as the director said, if these are available in English to us. There's a large pool of faculty in both countries. You have good teachers here, but unfortunately we are not contributing that much, and that's one area where AIIMS can contribute. And the cooperation between 2 countries will help in developing MOOCs all over for students all over the world, and we have, of course, a good experience in taking exams. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Gupta. As we told, we have a demonstration, two minutes.
Now there's a little bit of a magic show where an entire university is in his pocket.
Easy, very easy. Very short.
Very short. That's enough. Just searching. It is searching my iPhone in my pocket. My Pocket U is connecting on the video projector. I think it is finding the screen. Very good. So you have a very huge screen with your small smartphone, and you find, for instance, the study of cardiologic diseases. You can choose, for instance, how to teach about aortic stenosis. And you see, you can see wonderful images, pedagogically organized to explain what is happening at the aortic valve with the obstruction. So it is one example. It is very easy to show another one. For instance, you can exit this video. This program is very, for instance, you have atrial fibrillation with the electrocardiograph basically on the image, and you are seeing all the conducting system with the fibrillation organizing the distribution of the peak. Spike, sorry. For instance, you can also use this program for international MOOCs, and you can enter a lot of chapters. I don't have time to explain all that, but also for our patients. For instance, if you want to have control of your own arterial tension, you see that you can register what is today, this morning, this night, and so on. And you can connect with your medical center to send your data, and you have counsel for your own health, and it is very important. So thank you for, you see, it is very, very easy, and it is not expensive, and you have a very wonderful tool. Thank you.
Thank you very much.